This is not a history lesson. This is a show about beauty, glamour.
We wanted to use something soft and slippy when Colin is lifting up her skirt.
All we knew was that it was 1813 and there would be no women's bonnets. Once we get that vision, we stick to it pretty tightly, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Step into the enchanting world of Bridgerton, where romance, elegance, and scandal collide against a candy-coloured backdrop of Regency-era London. Creator Shonda Rhimes reimagines the period drama by infusing it with modern sensibilities, particularly in its lavish costumes, dreamed up by costume designer John Glaser and his two skilled assistants.
Dougie is our grounding person.
I was going to say that.
No, you are the grounding person as far as men's because they're the most historically accurate, which gives the women's side, which is George and I, to play off of that and go a little further. Dougie is much more internal and, I want to say intelligent, but
I can say that.
Our starting point was from the book where it stated that Penelope is in citrus colors. So we made the Featheringtons all citrus colors, oranges, limes, lemons, and we put in gold. And we made them the Versace family. And the Bridgertons, we went with Tiffany, Wedgwood blue, old money, and silver. They were the Kennedy family for us. People have asked us about inspiration. A lot of times they want us to say Beyonce and this person and this person. For us, they haven't been around long enough. It is Grace Kelly.
Audrey Hepburn.
Audrey Hepburn. Those people have stood the test of time.
Penelope's softer, looser hair in season 3 was inspired by icons like Rita Hayworth, Marilyn Monroe, and even Jessica Rabbit, and contrasts with the tighter curls she wore in the past. Bridgerton's fantastical style comes from a very particular blend of historical and contemporary references.
Our recipe always remains the same. Historical accuracy, fashion, art. We use the silhouette of the period, but we don't use period fabrics. We don't use period detailing.
If you had a Jaguar car and you had it painted paisley, it's extreme, but the classic line is still there.
This one is an inspiration for the very beginnings of Colin. Horses, gloves, just the attitude.
This is where we play with fabrics. This fabric shows lots of different creatures from around the world, so we thought this guy's traveled. And again, a contemporary fabric with his suspenders, his braces, the jewelry, which also is traditional. It kind of breaks it up, so it allows us to play with fashion and get away with it.
This is an interesting one. This is a period piece of fabric from the 1960s. Alice in our textile department painted more flowers for us and then embellishment made 3D flowers on it. It's pretty good, yeah. This is an outfit for Prudence, but this fabric is actually 3D printed fabric, but from a distance you would never know.
All these fabrics, both period and modern, added up to 4,500 yards of material for the show's third season. This isn't altogether surprising, as the first season alone demanded 7,500 wardrobe pieces.
7,500 pieces sounds like a lot, but it's not, because we rented nothing, everything was made. Gloves, shoes, shirts, dresses, petticoats, underwear, and we're always adding to it. This season, we actually tried to make it look like a painting or like a garden. We used a lot of ombre, from light to dark, from different colors, just like flowers change colors in the seasons.
And then placing one fabric over another, the translucency of a fabric with a strong color underneath.
Sometimes people say, what color is that dress? And you go, it could be blue, it could be green. Sometimes George and I, we are at wit's end and we take the two ugliest pieces of fabric that we have and layer up and it becomes shockingly beautiful. It's like, yeah.
There was a lot of layering that was helping to create that painterly effect when you look at Penelope's dresses. This is the dress that Penelope wears in the carriage scene when Colin and Penelope first get intimate. We didn't want it to go for anything too obvious, but that's why you've got a hint of the sparkle going on.
The petticoat is sheer.
We wanted to use something soft and slippy to help with the action when Colin is lifting up her skirt. Something stiff and might have looked a bit clunky.
A lot of times the costume has to do certain things.
Yeah.
I have to walk, I have to put it on, I have to take it off.
Because we knew we were going to be involved with a lot of bedroom scenes, we kit the guys out with underwear that has a period detail, but is inspired by modern, sexy, more figure-hugging, more eye candy, if you like. A period version of a Calvin Klein. Bridgerton's given us the opportunity to be true designers in the respect that we don't have to adhere to historical correctness. We can add fashion, big time add fashion, into the mix.
In addition to presenting unique design opportunities, Bridgerton showcases aspects of English culture rarely captured on screen.
We're looking at high society London, which is very rarely filmed. You see Jane Austen, which is very rural, but you very rarely see this period of Regency in London. We had the clear definition of the Bridgertons being a very normal, high society, aristocratic family, and the Featheringtons being kind of nouveau riche.
And then once we've got like the whole overall feel to it, then you'll hone in on different characters and their personalities.
I really wanted the pre-transformation dress to be like the maddest dress that I'd ever worn. Did John Glaser ever deliver? It's so crazy looking.
So when we first see Penelope, she is still wearing her citrus colours. We reworked one of her old dresses from a previous season and just added more embellishment to it. And so this is the piece that she wears when she goes to the garden party. The following morning, she's had enough of her family. She just wants to change.
To help visualise Penelope's big entrance, showrunner Jess Brownell drew inspiration from the 1999 film She's All That.
I love that dress you wear when you've chosen your own dress.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I love it so much.
This dress, which she reveals at the first ball of the season, we use magnets, which is a bit of movie magic.
Here, it's the first time we see her new hair, which is a beautiful color of red. And in this fabric, I don't know if you can see it, it goes from green to rust.
This was quite a big statement she was making. It backfired. And so it's more like stepping back, and instead of going back into this, it's doing a much softer look.
Someone the other day was like, it's sad that she's letting go of the Featheringtonness in her. And I was like, no, she's not. She's never wanted to dress like that. She wants to dress soft and romantically.
But Penelope isn't the only character going through big changes this season. And one big change may be particularly exciting to viewers.
Is that her brother?
Colin?
With specific reference to Colin, we saw this traveller, this maverick. And what I wanted to do with him is create what I always call the 3Ds. I wanted to make him daring, dashing, and dangerous. We created a very cowboy-esque feel to him. Instead of using normal wools, I used denim for his breeches, also incorporating a belt, which is very wrong and very unusual for that period, but it helped with the concept. But with the gloves, the long duster coat, over the top of a vest, all this very open neck, just missing the Stetson, that's it. This is Colin's vest for the balloon race, which has to show him as the hero. Quite open still here, he's impressing the girls. The stripe on this was not so obvious when we first saw it because the stripe was vertical. My great cutter, my great tailor, said, well, how about if we changed the plane of the stripes? So we decided on a chevron, which again emphasizes the pecs and the shoulders, and then draws it to the exciting place, I guess. When he changes his shirt in the carriage, which is a great reveal moment for the worked out chest, he puts on a court waistcoat with lots of little Easter eggs and nuances to refer to something that comes later in the season. And he also wears the green neck stock. I created in a very translucent fabric. It is there, but it isn't there. Is he playing towards Penelope? Is he trying to impress her? We've chosen a midnight blue. The camera loves this sort of depth in velvet, and I thought it was time for the men to look a little bit more colourful.
But Bridgerton isn't colourful just to be colourful. All these various shades tell the characters' various stories, like the way Violet Bridgerton's sparkling wardrobe indicates that the family matriarch may soon find her garden in bloom.
Her garden is in bloom. She's been through her period of mourning. She's still a mother, but we also want her to get a spring in her step a bit this season. This is one of her evening dresses. So this is when our cutters come into their own as well. We might not have a huge amount of a fabric. So all of this has been pieced on.
This is a problem that I cause. I get mixed up between meters and yards. And when I shop in New York, I buy yards, which is not enough for them to make a dress. So if you've noticed, they very creatively have used every inch of the fabric, have pretty masterly made up a back for us. We're using the Regency silhouette, but we've used modern shoes, Manola Blahnik and Roger Vivier, because the toes look just like the period and the buckles look like the period.
One of our other characters that we see more of this season is Crested Cowper. She's also got this new friendship with Eloise, and we see a softer side of her coming out. This, although it's flamboyant, it's also got a softness to
And
it.
actually, behind her is Eloise. This is an area where we soften the colors on both of them, really.
Yeah.
They're on the same level now.
Yeah.
They're on the same
There's
playing
like a
level.
friendship that's
Yeah.
forming.
Eloise's wardrobe marks a shift from previous seasons, where she dressed simply and practically. Her outfits featured high collars and long sleeves, giving her a scholarly appearance, reflecting her forward-thinking personality. Now her clothes are somewhat more feminine, showing her growing societal awareness and embrace of her own femininity. And while some of Bridgerton's ladies are showing their softer side, others, like Lady Danbury and Queen Charlotte, are as regal and formidable as ever.
Good evening, Lady Danbury. A letter for you, Mum.
For me, the Lady Danbury that we see in the show, she's a widow and she's her own powerhouse. So she's got this masculine and feminine quality. We see in this season, John has let me have a stock, which is a male cravat. Obviously, when we go to Ball Land, then she frocks up.
This is a Lady Danbury piece. She's done 2 seasons where she's worn her top hat and her burgundy. So we've used a combination of keeping her silhouette, changing it up slightly, but still very much in her world. Another thing that Adja was very keen to incorporate into her costume was jewellery with a cultural element to it.
And this season, we've incorporated some West African Adinkra symbols. This is called a sankofa, which it's 2 birds with taking a bead, and it's like you go back and you bring the bead back to nest. So it's like, remember your history, bring it with you. The one that we have a lot of in the show now is called a jinyame, and it means except for God, fear nothing.
That was splendid.
Forgive me, Your Majesty, I was only taking a small pause from the ball.
Because you delight in your endeavours. Someone who performs not for me, but for themselves.
Queen Charlotte is another that we took her traditional outfits and made them again. We pushed them a little more artistic, a little more like a painting. This is a great example for the Queen. A very, very modern fabric, all done by hand and beading, so that when she moves, you're not really sure what it is. It's all an illusion. The ermine, instead of us trying to make real ermine tails or make it look like ermine because this is a fantasy, we used little bows to give the illusion of ermine. Everyone thinks that these costumes are white, but in reality, they're creams, pale blue, pale green, layers and layers of fabrics, pearl work, ribbon work. Why that works is because the hair department, the embellishment department, and the jewelry department all work close together on her to give her a unified look. All these elements are made individually so that the hair department can make a shape, they can scatter them, they can group them together.
This piece is a modern 3D printed purse, which has had embellishment added to, as we like to embellish everything. We wanted to get rid of the traditional reticules of the period.
And why is that?
Because you hate them.
I hate them.
What I love about Bridgerton is that it's Regency, but it's Regency fantasy.
It brings out all the creative aspects throughout the departments.
It's one of the few times we've been able to make everything from scratch, but it is kind of a gift of what's been given to us, and we do respect it and try to produce and give back the best product that we can.